Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful podcast. Today, we have a very interesting discussion on understanding your deeper emotions so that you're able to connect with them better and it'll help you feel much more confident, especially during high stress situations. And for this discussion, our guest Saanvi is going to guide us. So, Saanvi, how about we start with a quick introduction?
Sure, Sumit. So, hi everyone, I am Saanvi. I am a confidence coach. I help people discover their inner self and help them regulate their emotions, help them integrate their whole personality from a very core point of view and not just external surface level. I myself am a very deep person, and that's why I like to work with my clients at a very deeper level. So that's what I do. Other than that, I enjoy having conversations with deeper conversations with a lot of people, and I enjoy having fun in life. I just want to take life very simply. Yeah.
Wow, that is actually one of the best introductions we have had over here. So, Saanvi, why don't we start with a very simple yet complex question? How would you define an emotion?
Emotion is a feeling. It's something to be experienced. It's something that you feel it inside yourself. It's if you look at it, emotion is actually your energy in motion. So you can experience that energy at very different parts of your body, right? And actually emotion is one of the first things that you actually experience as a human. When you enter the world, right? When you get into the world, you don't have thoughts, but you do have emotions. And the very first emotion that we look for is like discomfort that the baby experiences. So how it expresses it is through crying, but the discomfort is because of the change in environment. From mother's womb, the baby comes into existence into this external, like the environment changes for the baby. Now they suddenly have to take oxygen, and so they just adapt to it, right? So that is a discomfort that they are feeling, and they're expressing it by crying, and that expression just indicates that they are alive and they are adapting to the environment.
Okay.
So yeah, emotions is one of the first things that we feel, and it's a compass for us as humans.
Okay. I like this. Emotions are energy in motion. Then, of course, naturally the question follows, why do we distinguish between negative emotions and positive emotions? If everything is just energy, then why are some feelings associated with positivity and others with negativity?
That's quite an interesting thing. So what happens is every kind of emotion makes you feel a different experience in your body, right? Now, certain experiences are pleasant in nature, certain experiences are not pleasant in nature. For example, when you are feeling at peace, it's just calmness that you're feeling inside. When you're feeling happy, it's the joy that you are feeling, right? The frequency of that energy is such that you're feeling very good in nature, right? Internally. Whereas certain negative feelings, for example, anger.
Yeah.
Now, anger in itself is just an expression, it's an emotion that you feel, but it is considered negative because it is signifying that you are not happy about something. There's some sort of resentment, there's some sort of suppression or something that you haven't attended to inside you, and a certain kind of emotion that you haven't looked at, but it is bringing you down.
Okay.
While you're feeling angry, if you would have noticed, see, emotions you are experiencing from your body. So when you're experiencing anger, you would feel a certain burning sensation at some place in your body, right? If you are very sad about something, right, and you have suppressed it, you would feel it in your heart, and that is a heat sort of being generated in that particular part of your body. So that, and what it does is it brings you down, the frequency goes down, you don't feel good about it, your body doesn't feel safe in that particular energy, which is what makes us differentiate it between positive and negative. Happiness, joy, all of those things will help you elevate in life. It will make you go ahead, whereas the depressed kind of state, those kind of state, it is going to push you down, pull you back, basically. That's why we tend to kind of differentiate between them. It either makes you feel happy or positive, like a calm state of mind, a calm state of body, or it pulls you down, the frequency is very low, and it also kinds of dictates the kind of action and behavior you're going to do next, which also sometimes make us differentiate them into positive and negative.
Makes sense. Okay. But I have a question here. Emotions like excitement and anxiety feel the exact same in your body, like you have these butterflies in your stomach and maybe there's a little bit of weight in your chest. Then why is excitement suddenly, oh, I want to get out there and use all this energy I'm feeling, and anxiety is the complete opposite, where I want to just shut down, I don't want to talk to anybody?
That is about your nervous system. So basically, if you look at it, the emotion of fear and the emotion of excitement have a very similar or even exact neural pattern in your brain. Okay, now, which is why it kind of feels a little bit similar. But what happens is, when does fear or anxiety exist, and when does excitement exist? Fear exists, anxiety exists when there is anxiety. Basically simply exists because of some sense of uncertainty is existing, like I don't know how am I going to perform in this exam, right? I'm worried about the result of the exam. I don't think I'll be doing well, or there's something attached with the result and I'm afraid, I'm fearful of that. It is the same, like it's a new thing. For me it is like I'm afraid, and for you it is like, oh, let's see what are the questions in the paper and let's see we can attempt it or not. So I will be afraid about the exam, you will be kind of excited and happy about whatever is going to come, because you're looking at that lens. What differentiates our look towards is the safety that I have inside my nervous system and the level of safety you feel inside your nervous system. For me, I have had previous experiences where my worth is being attached to the result that I am creating. So my nervous system is not really kind of safe around any sort of results about anything. So instead of choosing excitement, I naturally choose fear, and that generates anxiety inside me. Even though it's the same thing, we both don't know what is going to come up. We both don't know what is the exam pattern. But I'm very afraid to look at a new thing, but you are very excited. And because your nervous system, you don't have any sort of attachment to the result. You're just going in there, by nature, you're explorative in nature, and you're like, okay, let's see what happens. So you're kind of excited towards it. And I am anxious towards it because I don't feel safe with the result. I'm afraid of the result. My worth is attached to the result.
Okay, so it's all about interpretation. We could have the same exact event, but we could interpret it completely differently.
Yeah, that is true in every case. It depends. Like your perception, your interpretation of the situation, of the world is going to govern your behavior and even your emotions towards it. And it depends on how safe as a nervous system you feel or not.
Okay. And all this comes from the past data our brain has collected. Like, let's say I failed in an exam and my dad beat me with a belt, then I would suddenly feel very unsafe. But in that exact situation, if I failed in the exam and my dad said, it's okay, you can try next time, then I would be more excited to explore new opportunities. Okay.
Yeah.
But we can't change our past. So how do we heal from it?
Healing from the past is a very it sounds very simple, but it's a very deep journey that you go through, right? And you're not exactly changing your past when you are healing. You are actually reframing a lot of experiences that you have had, and you're trying to create safety that your nervous system never got, as well as you're trying to build your capacity to handle any similar kind of rather experiences around in your life, basically. Now, how do you heal is depends on what have you gone through, but healing is, there are 3 steps to healing.
Okay.
The first step is bringing awareness. What is it that needs healing? What is my problem at the first place? What am I looking to change in my life? What are my current patterns? Where exactly these patterns are limiting me? So that level of awareness needs to be there. For some people, let's say you and I everyone experiences anger, right?
Yeah.
You and I both are experiencing anger, but for you give it some time. You let it settle. You figure out what is the anger about, and if it is not something big, you are easily able to ignore it. But for me, I get angry, I react to situations, or I as a child have known that anger is not a good emotion to be expressed, right? So I suppress my anger, and all that suppressed anger has built into resentment towards something or other thing in my life. And because I'm suppressing my anger, I'm finding it very difficult to connect with people. Like, I would avoid connecting with people because I know these kind of people make me angry, so I would just not have them in my life, rather than, because I don't have unlimited capacity to suppress it, right?
Yeah.
So what is happening? My anger is stopping or hampering me being able to connect to different kinds of people in life. It is hampering my networking skills. It is hampering my ability to be able to connect with a partner as well in life, right? So awareness. Okay, my anger is hampering something in my life. If I don't have that awareness, if I don't feel the loss, sort of, ki my anger is actually causing some issues, I'm never going to change any of it. So first step is awareness. Next step is acceptance. Okay, like for some people it's very difficult to accept. They're like, anger hai to hai, sabko hota hai, everyone experiences it. What's the big deal in it? You must be okay with it. There are some situations you will feel angry, you should let it go. Like if I'm shouting once in a while, what's the big deal in it? But that's when the partner doesn't feel safe. That's when if tomorrow you're going to have a child, the child doesn't feel safe. Or let's say in an office environment, you your boss might have the capacity to deal with you, but once when you become a boss and you keep shouting at people, your employees are not going to take it all in.
Absolutely.
And they're going to leave. But your boss is telling you that your behavior is causing them to leave, and you're like, no, they are not skilled enough and they're using my name. So there's no level of acceptance.
Got it.
In that particular situation. So second step is acceptance. I know I shout, but I need to accept that it has consequences which are not favorable for me or for my environment. That level of acceptance needs to be there for you to be able to work on yourself.
So the third step is actually doing the work, right? And what would the actual work entail is getting help of an expert who will help you diagnose the root patterns, the root of these patterns, the root of these belief systems that you have gathered in your subconscious mind, right? The expert helps you delve deeper into your subconscious and help you rewire it. That's how the whole healing process happens. And once you have actually done your inner work, you also have to kind of keep staying connected with yourself. You have to incorporate those changes into your life so that you don't indulge again into those previous patterns. Like, there are certain things that will change forever, that will be like transformed, but there are also certain kind of things that you would have to keep working on, because see, it's been years of dysregulation into your system. So it will take some time the regulation will also take some time to integrate, and you have to give yourself that time, and you need to keep doing the things that your nervous system requires to be regulated. So yeah, that is how the whole healing process works.
Okay, this is pretty interesting. And Saanvi, tell me this, especially after somebody has healed, is it also that when someone has a much harder past to deal with, does the healing take more time, or is it something?
Healing, the intensity of your experiences and the time you take in healing is not directly proportional, to be honest. It's very normal to assume. So, like, if you have gone through abuse, violence and things like that, there would be a very large part of you, a large part of your nervous system, a large part of your body that has absorbed all of those fears and discomfort and all of those feelings that comes with the abuse. However, it's not directly proportional. The amount, the time that you're going to take to heal depends on your nervous system's capacity to deal with this. Depends on your capacity of integrating those things into your life. See, today, especially with the amount of knowledge that we have with internet, with AI, it's very easy. I would not say easy, but awareness is not that hard as it was used to be previously. You are at least a little bit aware of some of your patterns. You are at least aware that this is not a good emotion that I'm experiencing. Whether I'm doing something about it or not is a different story. However, we are aware about those things. But that does not bring the change in our life. Right? There are some people who would read books and be able to implement those things and could see the transformation, right? But for some of us, we would need that expert guidance. We would need that environment where we are sitting with someone who is guiding us to do the journey, right? So what is the difference? The difference is the amount of safety that particular person has inside them or not. And the healing time is also dependent on how much committed you are, how much space you have in your life currently. Let's say you and I are both working together to do your inner work. Now I am bringing out certain patterns that are impacting your current life, but we are having session once a week, and in those 2 hours you understand, okay, this is what is going on, right? But in the rest of the week you're completely occupied with cooking for yourself, with doing presentations, and you have no time to absorb whatever we have discussed, whatever you have understood from that session.
Yeah.
So that is not going to bring change. So that does not mean you are taking a longer time. It's in days, in weeks, you might feel that you took a long time to bring that transformation, but that's not, you never worked, your system never absorbed it, you were never ready for it. So you cannot compare or you cannot measure healing in time.
Got it. Okay. So what is one experience that you have personally healed from, if you mind sharing?
Yeah, that's okay. Let me recollect. I think for me, one of my traits was perfection. I have always been someone who has either wanted the perfect thing or not want to do it at all, right? And there have been reasons for it. I used to be so attached to this thing that I want to score. I want to be in the top 5 in class. I remember having participated in a Rangoli competition during my school time, and I was like, we'll do something very different. We're going to do, everyone makes these simple circle designs, but I am going to do something different because we need to win. So I have had this trait like forever in me, and I have seen myself beating myself up for those things and pushing too hard for even the simplest of the task. And I would see people around me, they're not so bothered, okay, like even in college, okay, we have a presentation tomorrow, but I would spend hours researching because I want to bring in a great kind of presentation, a different kind of presentation, whatever. And I could see the time of my life going away into just a particular sort of thing. The time I could have enjoyed with friends, the time I could have done an internship maybe, I spent in being perfect. So yeah, those were my traits, and that is something that I have worked on and healed from. I would not say completely, because as I said, integration in your nervous system takes its own sweet time and you have to be very kind and compassionate towards it. So I worked on that, and a large part of it is healed now. And now in my work especially also, like in being coaches, you cannot rely on becoming perfect, because if you rely on that, you will never be able to help anyone at the first place, right? Because there's nothing called perfection. So that's why I'm able to do the work that I do. That's why I'm able to create the kind of resources that I do, because there always will be a scope of improvement, but that never stops you.
Absolutely. And I think perfection is something you can never really measure. It's not quantifiable. And that's why your hunger for perfection never ends.
That's
which is very important. And I'm really glad you healed from this. And I think personally, when I think about healing, 10 years ago, I had extreme social anxiety. And I think I did the things you mentioned, which is awareness, and after that, acceptance, then taking action. This has really worked out. But now Yeah. And now tell me, Saanvi, what according to you is a healthy way to deal with your emotions?
Friends with them.
Sorry?
Be friends with them.
Be friends with them. Okay.
It is friendship. I have I don't know how it occurred to me as a child, but since childhood I know that friendship is one of the best and the purest relationship you can have. You just need to be friends with your emotions. Every time you encounter any emotion, positive or negative, you talk to it as if it were your friend. You treat it as if it were your friend. Let's say if you're angry and you're talking to your emotions, you're not gonna be like, just go away. You don't treat your friend like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna be curious about it. Oh, I'm experiencing this. What is it about? If you are experiencing anxiety, which basically comes from uncertainty. If your friend is uncertain about something, you're going to comfort them rather than beating them up with, you're stupid, you just don't know why you're not gonna say those things to your friend, right? You're gonna be bringing a lot of comfort that it's okay. I know we are not sure of something, but we don't need to be sure. We can take care of this thing. So, yeah, that is one of the healthiest way to deal with your emotions. And to simplify it even more, it's about listening to your emotions, not hearing them, but listening to them without judgment.
Okay. And without control also, because when we try to control our emotions, it just makes it worse. Love this. Yeah. Curiosity.
See, there's one thing we need to understand about emotions is that emotions are just a language through which our body communicates to us. So we just need to understand that language. We need to treat it as a language, right? Do you question if I'm saying right now whatever sentence I'm saying, are you questioning why are you putting it out like this?
No.
It's just there. It's your body is trying to communicate to you through emotions. So we need to just understand that language.
Okay. I get that. And how can someone forgive their past self? Let's say somebody made a lot of wrong decisions and they have a lot of resentment for their past self. What can they do to forgive?
Did your past self had the information your current self have now around the same thing?
I don't think that's possible. No, right?
Right. So if you did not know it back then, how would you have taken a decision based on what you know now in the past? Right? Let's say, for example, someone is married to a person. Let's say it's an arranged marriage. Now, you would have heard people, if I would have known this, मैंने कभी उनसे शादी नहीं करी होती.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very common statement. I think I hear, not although good, but anyway. So, but you didn't. That's the whole point. You did not know this person back then. You did not know XYZ trait about this person back then. And let's say, in this span of time, this person has also evolved, right? This person is also not the same person who he or her was in that moment when you were deciding.
Yes.
So how could you blame yourself for taking a decision without an information. That information just exists now. It did not exist in the past. So if it did not exist, can you be accepting towards that version that you did the best you could in that particular time?
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And forgiveness, how does it come? Because of the acceptance that you did your best, or?
It's a very, I've never looked at it that way. So I'm just trying to think, how have I looked at forgiveness all these years? I think forgiveness is about compassion.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, I don't think it is about acceptance. See, you have an acceptance that you cannot change your past. This is a very common acceptance that everyone has, right? We know we cannot change our past, but still we cannot forgive ourselves or someone else if they have hurt us.
Yeah.
Forgiveness comes from compassion that this happened and it's okay. I still love myself for who I am. So I forgive myself. I let it go. Forgiveness is nothing but your love towards that thing. That you're finally able to let the grudge go and accept things for what it is.
Okay. The act of letting go. And you let go because you love yourself more to actually be angry at yourself for that long. Okay. That makes sense. And I've always been curious, Saanvi. When we are having a conversation with someone, let's say a friend, a family member, or maybe a child, how do we create a safe space for them where they are able to express their emotions freely?
Safety comes from two things. First is, if you want to create a safe space, do you have a safe space inside of you? Like, do you create a safe space for yourself, let alone for someone else? So if you are being harsh, if you are very critical for yourself, if you are in your mind, let's say you're telling your friend, you're having a conversation with a friend who has indulged into, let's say, infidelity.
Okay.
Right? Now, that's something you don't approve of.
Yeah.
Does it mean you would not listen to them or would not give them a safe space to be vulnerable because they're feeling guilty of what they're doing? But if you're judging them, you're listening, and in your head it is going, oh my god, how can I be friends with this person? And this does not make sense at all and stuff like that. Do you think that person is going to feel safe even if you have told them that it's okay, you can talk to me about it?
No, they won't feel safe.
The first thing is, like, you have to create that safe enough space inside you for someone else to be, for someone else to feel that your energy is affecting them. And when I say safety in you, like, either you could be triggered by something someone has done and dysregulate yourself, or you could be judgmental towards them, which is constantly the inner dialogue is switched on.
Yeah.
So basically you are completely dysregulated because of what someone else is saying, so you're not able to provide that safe space. So first thing is creating inner safety with yourself. And second is, yes, listening. Just listening without anything attached.
Okay.
No judgment, no control. Like, actually listening to them, to their words, to their body language, to their feelings, to being receptive of what and who they are being right now.
All right. But circling back to this, of course, we cannot control the thoughts we have in the moment, right? Like, let's take infidelity. I mean, of course, most people don't approve of it. So naturally, you will judge the other person.
Okay, what's the question?
No, the question is, if we can't control our thoughts, then how do we create safety within us? And again, safety by listening to the other person.
So it's not a switch, it's a skill.
Okay.
A skill to be practiced, a skill a skill basically to be practiced. Like, it's not going to be like today you decided to listen to someone and tomorrow, like even today itself, you'll be able to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot control you cannot ask yourself to shut the thoughts, but if you are safe and regulated enough, you can definitely direct your thoughts. I know you're there in my mind, but I'll come to you in a while. At this point, at this moment, my friend needs me. So I'm going to be there for them. And I'm going to attend to the thoughts later on. I'm going to come to you. That is the level of connection you build, which is exactly why I said the safety inside the regulation and safety inside your system.
Yeah.
Having a conversation with parent, friend, a child, it's still more personal. Let's say in our profession, especially as a coach, it's the topmost skill that we need to have to provide that space for our clients, right? Now, we are humans. If we cannot control our thoughts, how are we going to be precise in our skills of listening to the problem of others?
Yes.
Right? So it's just that we need to wear that hat. We need to be regulated enough to just let our thoughts know that we are going to come to them. It's not like we are abandoning you.
Got
and
it.
That's a practice. Yeah.
All right. And do you personally do something to practice this skill, like some exercises that might help you be a more present listener?
I have had stages. So I'm a person who has been empathetic in nature since childhood. So I have been the go-to friend or unpaid therapist wala cheez since forever. But then the place I was coming from back then and the place now I create for my clients is very different. And since you asked me this question, it just brought me that journey, and I think it would help you understand more about the question you asked. So basically, when I was doing that, that was coming from a place of lack of boundaries. Like because I'm an empathetic person, right? I would completely immerse myself in other people's experiences.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a different level of listening. I'm completely immersed, even I'm feeling the pain they are feeling. And that does not help people. And then when you start practicing the actual kind of safety, so you create that space inside yourself first. To create that space, you calm, you regulate your nervous system. So that I used to do the grounding exercises, like basically deep breathing and reminding myself that this space is for someone else. It started with having this space for my clients, and when I started noticing that this is helping me, I actually brought this skill into my relationships as well. If I'm listening to my husband, I'm just listening to him. I have intentionally brought that space for other people as well, because that brings a deeper level of connection in your relationships. So you have to first do the grounding exercises, then you also have to bring in the intention.
Yeah.
My intention in this conversation is to listen to this person. So I would do that intentionally, and I would come back to my thoughts whenever I have the time and the space to do that. And third is setting a boundary. You are different from this person. You are not this person. Just because this person did something, that does not mean like you immerse into it. For example, that infidelity example. If someone has done that, it did not happen to you. Like, you have to separate yourself from that experience. When you separate, when you draw that boundary, that's when you don't get angry and you come from a place of compassion towards the other person.
Yeah, I think intention is very important. I get that. And let's also talk a bit about empathy. So you're someone who, of course, feels empathy quite naturally. But what about someone who has suppressed their empathy? How do they build their empathy? Let's say someone does not have as much empathy or maybe no empathy at all. How can they build?
So I'll ask you a question. What do you think? Why does someone not have empathy at all?
Maybe because there was no safe space for them to open up, and hence they feel like they cannot provide a safe space to somebody else.
And what do you think then the person should do first?
Reflect. Reflect on creating safe space for themselves. Okay.
You cannot give what you don't have. If you want to provide empathy, you need to be empathetic towards yourself. You need to have it in you. And if you don't have empathy, it is very much likely that you are very much critical about your own self. You're not giving yourself the love, compassion, and the space that needs to be given, which is why you cannot just impose an emotion onto yourself and then give it. You need to have it from inside, right? And it's not like you don't have it, it's just blocked with a lot of unsafety, a lot of anger, a lot of XYZ, I don't know, like depending on the situation, depending on the person, but those blocks need to be removed.
Okay, so empathy starts from within. Got it.
Every emotion, anything you want to give out, it starts from you.
And let's also talk about the stories we tell ourselves. So some people tell themselves, I am shy, I'm introverted, I can never do this. While other people are like, I'm confident, I'm going to be successful, all of that. So where do both of these interpretations come from, and how can someone change their story?
Your interpretations come from your experiences. When someone is saying I'm shy and introverted, that can be a 100% true or that can be a 0% true. And even when someone is saying I'm confident I can do anything, that even can be a 100% true or a 0% true. Right? Depending on your experiences. For example, as you mentioned, you had social anxiety. Now, people with social anxiety tend to feel that they are introverts, and that's why they don't like to go outside. They would not term it as social anxiety. They would term themselves as a personality, that I'm introverted and that's why I don't feel comfortable in group settings. But that's not true. The root cause is your anxiety, is the fear of judgment of what people are going to say, is the fear how do I look? What am I wearing? What are people thinking about me? Am I too thin? Am I too fat? Like, just an example. So where are these thoughts coming from? That people are looking at me and judging me based on my appearance. Because someone has done that in the past.
Okay.
Either I have been bullied in school because of the way I look, or my parents have told me that this doesn't suit you. If you go outside wearing this, people are going to laugh at you. Maybe something. Or you look too fat into that dress. Go and change that. Oh, this is too revealing. You're not supposed to wear this and go outside. those experiences have made that person very conscious about how they look, which has made interacting with group such an exhausting activity, because they have to first get ready and think, okay, what do I wear? And there will be 10 different options and 10 different opinions. This is too revealing, this is too long, this is too short, this is out of trend. So that whole process. Then going out and looking at other people. This person is wearing this, oh, they look smart. Oh, this person is also wearing something revealing, but it looks cool, it looks smart. I don't know why I could never pull that off. Like, even in that moment while they are outside having a fun conversation, my mind is running into these thoughts and it is getting too exhausting for me. So I don't enjoy being into that social setting. And then I term myself, I am an introvert. But that's not true. It's not that I'm introvert, it's my anxiety because of my perception about who I am based on my previous experiences, because people have told me those things.
Okay.
So it's a very long chain, and it sounds like a 2-5 minute thing when we are listening to it. But imagine a body and a mind going through this over the years. It's not a one-time thing. It would have happened at the age of 5, it would have happened at the age of 6, at 7 and 10 and then 12. For me to be able to come to this place where I say I am an introvert.
Got it.
So this is, you tell your story to yourself based on your experience. Now look at another example that you mentioned was I am confident. Right? Let's take the same story, like whatever this person has gone through. Now, one coping mechanism was I exhaust myself through my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I tell myself I'm an introvert. Another coping mechanism would be I'm a rebel. I want to fight. I don't want to listen to whatever XYZ person has to say, because I'm going to avoid and I'm going to dismantle anything and everything people are saying about me, because I do not accept it. That's another quote. Let's say I'm going to fight this. So they are feeling a little bit nervous inside. Okay, what are people going to think? And that discomfort is so discomforting to them that they push this belief. I'm confident and I don't care what people are saying. So I'm going to wear whatever it is and I go outside. Internally, they're still shaky and nervous about whatever they are doing, but that's what they are saying. Oh, I don't care about however the presentation went. I think I killed it. Sort of. So what I'm just trying to bring in here is how you choose to cope with it. What exactly, as you said, what is the story you are telling yourself into that moment is going to bring in. It's not necessary that that belief is true, and it is not necessary that it is completely false. It can be absolutely true that you are an introvert. You at the core don't enjoy being with people. You just find it much more fun to sit home and read books.
Okay. But both these coping mechanisms are unhealthy, is what you're saying.
Yeah, coping mechanism at any point in time is a coping mechanism. It basically is you not being your original self. You are trying to adapt to something because you believe that your original self is not required here. So coping in itself is unhealthy for your system.
Oh, that makes sense. And I think when you talked about this rebel aspect, I know someone who smokes because her parents were very controlling growing up, and she just smokes to rebel. She does not enjoy the act of smoking. And yeah, I think this rebelling, it might look so cool on the outside that we are very nonchalant, but it affects us in ways we don't even fathom.
Yeah. So if you look at this example, you could see that this person had no control over her life, and the only control she has is that addiction. She's just representing, she's getting that sense of control that she had Sorry, I assumed it's she. It's
No, it
him
is
or
she.
whoever.
I mentioned it's she. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she did not have that control, and she is doing it through smoking. If you would look at it, all sort of addictions are like that only. You are trying to get some level of control that you did not. That is why people are also not able to give up on sugary foods. Like even sugary foods are also, food cravings are also on some level a coping mechanism.
Okay. Yeah. So emotional eating and all of that.
Yeah.
I get that. And my final question for you, Saanvi, is about EQ. So I'm a strong believer that women are much wiser than men. And my question is, even though we feel a lot of emotions similarly, like we feel anger, we feel depression, all of that, why do men have more violent tendencies? Like even if you look at crime rates, the crimes committed by men are much more heinous compared to the female crime rate. So even though we feel things similarly, which is our emotions, why do we react completely differently?
Okay. So, see, I haven't researched in this particular aspect. So, I'm going to give you my perspective on this particular thing. Men, there is always a masculine aspect to an individual and a feminine aspect to an individual. It's not about the gender, but the energy I'm talking about. Me as a person, I would have some masculine traits. Masculine energy is about performing, about action, and about doing the things. And feminine energy is more about nurturing, about feeling and being intuitive in nature, right? So we all have both these energies inside of us, and our actions are going to depend on the balance of these energies. If I am in 50-50 balance, that is great. I'm able to listen to my intuition, and I'm able to take actions as well. But that is rarely the case. Our energies will depend on, again, our experiences, the influences that we have had in life, and naturally how much have we controlled or balance in ourselves. So I think it is more about how much a person is in touch with what kind of energy.
Okay.
Yeah. And men in general have been, so this is a misconception people have, right? Men can have masculine energy and females will have feminine energy. They have the culture, and globally, if you see, it has been associated that men are not supposed to cry. It's a female tendency to cry. However, it is a masculine and a female feminine trait.
Great.
Right? But we have been told, the culture is like that. We have been conditioned as a man, you are supposed to just feel the masculine traits, and as a female, you're supposed to feel the feminine traits. If you look at life and roles in evolution as well, so you would see it's the men who are providing and females who are nurturing. And even in animals, you would see men would generally go and collect the food out, and females are supposed to take care of the kids and provide them with the food, convert it into actual edible and provide it. Animals and humans both. So the misconception has come from there over the years. Okay? Now, as a person who is supposed to do action, you are not always in a place where you are able to deal with the emotion then and there itself. In present context, let's say you are quite overwhelmed with a question during a presentation a client has asked.
Yeah.
at that moment you are supposed to just respond. You're supposed to not get carried away in your emotion, but to respond to that situation and respond to that question. But your system is already into overwhelm. Now, if you are a balanced personality, you will go back and deal with the overwhelm. You'll go back and sit with your emotion. You will listen to it. Okay, this happened. I felt overwhelmed. Now I'm trying to regulate myself. Okay, this happened. It's very natural and it's completely okay. No amount of experience can prepare you for everything, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed, and you get done with it. But if you have the conception, I'm a man, I'm not supposed to feel anything, you're not going to deal with this overwhelm. You're going to let it stay inside you. And it gets added up each and every day. You go out in the market, you hunt for whatever, you hunt for your living and stuff like that. Okay? And you constantly suppress. Now all of that so what happens is you indulge into a lot of misplaced emotions inside you. Okay. And there is no way for you to release that emotion. Now the intensity of that emotion is you don't know how, you don't understand that language. If today we are going to go into a tribal community, we are not going to understand what they are saying. Right? As I said, emotions is a language. You don't understand what you are feeling, and then you just do anything that comes to your hand, because as a man, I don't have control over my emotions. I find it very releasing and relaxing if I hit something. So I kind of hit my wife because I find that as a release of my emotion, because I'm not attending to my emotion. So this is my understanding of how if the number is actually true, then I think this is why, because if you're not attending to your emotions, if you're not being a balanced person, that's when it becomes very easy for you to misplace your emotions into a crime. Crime, basically violence. You have no sense of control. You could not control your parents hitting you, so you go and hit outside because that what gives you control.
It's honestly really sad that our culture is built this way, and the way men react. I remember when I was studying in college, so there was this girl in our class, and one day she entered the classroom with her eye bruised. And when everybody asked her what happened, she said that her boyfriend hit her. And it was just so hard to believe at such a young age. I mean, she was probably 19, 20. They're going through so much because some man out there was not able to control their emotions and deal with them. It's really sad.
That's really sad. And not just physical violence. Even if we are having these incidents even today as a community, as a culture, we have advanced so much. I mean, if you look at the Stone Age or the jungle times, and now, I mean, things are way too advanced, right? And still we are looking at these cases, can tell you how deeply we are still rooted into our bodies like that, and how it has still continued. It is sad, but at the same time, if you look at it emotionally, physical abuse, so definitely not done, but the level of emotional abuse people do to even themselves. So today, as a community, as a culture, we all know globally that you are not supposed to be violent, not towards your wife, not towards your kids, not towards anyone for that matter, right? Violence is not accepted and stuff like that. But what about the emotional abuse that we do with ourselves and with our families? We are not able to deal with our stress. We don't understand that we are stressed at the first place, and the kind of unsafety that we are creating in the family environment.
Yeah.
So that is also something that I feel really sad about. I think a few months ago, or probably a year ago, yeah, it's been almost a year, I think. So I heard, so there was this, I don't know these people, but this is something that I got to hear was, so this couple, both of them are doctors, and they had a child, and even if the child missed one mark, like one mark was something wrong, या एक MCQ गलत हो गया, the parent would come to the teacher and fight, and like literally, I don't remember if they physically abused the child or not, like they hit him or not, but the child was so afraid even to lose one mark. That is the kind of environment they have created for a child in today's time, and being a doctor. That's really sad, because it's not one time abuse, it is a constant stress factor that the child is living in, and if that stress continues, the brain of the child, the body of the child is developing in that way. They are very, I would not call fragile, but under development. The child phase, it's under development. That's how they are growing up, and that's what a whole generation is being affected. Like, if they grow up like that, they are going to have its impact in their adult life, and that impact is gonna get transferred to the next generation. No matter how hard they learn to regulate their emotion, there always will be an impact to the next generation by the time they are able to completely regulate themselves.
Okay.
We are not just talking about one life, we are talking about generations here. And that is what something that hurts me a lot more than even the physical abuse.
Okay. And how can we change this culture for the coming generation? Let's say in the next 50 years, how could we change this culture? Especially getting rid of this abuse, because it is intolerable. It is unacceptable.
I think we are at a place as a generation where we are completely filled, like our capacity is completely filled of tolerating these things. I'm not an expert in that particular subject, but what happens is that we have been transferring the traumas to the next generation. As a person, all the trauma that you carry is also getting transferred to the next generation, and that too biologically. Okay? I'm not an expert, so I will not get into a lot of details there, but this is what happens. And so if I am a person existing, I will have some traits of my parents and my parents' parents in me, right? Which would include both strengths and weaknesses. Now, since I'm carrying their trauma as well as a person, I have a very limited capacity. I would not be able to take completely everything that is going on. And because we come from a generation where we are studying and exploring life, not just into our homes, right? So we understand, we also have our thinking brain of our own. So we have already developed this space where we know that this is wrong. That certain level of awareness is there. And what do we do as a culture is create a lot of work is left to do in that space, but it should be extremely normal to go and have a conversation with your coach, with your therapist about some disturbance that you're going through in life. If we make it that common, we might be able to 3-4 generations down the line, we might be able to create safe nervous systems.
That's good advice, yeah. Because therapy is something as important as food or water. Because only when you're able to be accepting of yourself, you can create a safe world, a safe environment.
In the beginning of this podcast, you mentioned that we cannot change our past. So whatever we have right now, we have it. But what we can actually do is create this space to talk about it, to
Yeah.
heal ourselves from it. And once we heal ourselves, only then we are able to provide that space to others as well, right? So that's what I think as a culture we need to develop.
That makes sense. I get that. Thank you, Saanvi. This discussion has been really eye-opening. I learned a lot, and we talked about a lot of important things today. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I would just like to present my gratitude to you. I think the kind of things that we talked about today has been the number one motivation for me to stay into this, to get into this industry, to stay into this work. And this conversation has just brightened that light inside me, and I'm just all the more motivated to do the work I do. So yeah, thank you so much for having this conversation, having me here to have this conversation, and bringing me more to myself on this journey.
That's great. And also thank you for listening, whoever is listening. And of course, if you want to watch more such podcasts, do subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in another wonderful podcast. Take care.